Welcome to the Unbearables podcast. I'm Brandon Ruiz, and I'm here with
Big Chub, a.k.a. Phil Wood.
and today what we're going to touch up on is a little bit of like Patrick Mahomes talk and that whole Chiefs-Steelers game. We're also going to go into some interesting words that Isaiah Thomas had about himself recently and the other point guards in the league and what we really think about that. And we're also probably going to touch up on a little bit of Bears and Trubisky talk because we have some things to say after week one.
A lot of things.
But first things first, I actually want to get into Patrick Mahomes. And watching that game, it was kind of ridiculous because Patrick Mahomes, his passes were right on the numbers every single pass. I noticed that. He put them right where the receiver wants them. At least that's what I thought. Because when I was watching it, it's like every ball was a catchable ball. There was not a single pass that he passed, I guess, that couldn't be caught unless he was getting pressured, which is definitely something to say. But even when he was getting pressured, like on the run, his passes were accurate. They were caught. He had a very high completion percentage, and overall, I was really impressed with his second game of the season.
I think he improved on where his passes were a lot from week 1 to week 2, but the problem with him is he's throwing them in as these lasers. And he's not, when he's going downfield with these passes, these lasers aren't making it to where they need to be. And a lot of time his down the field passes are too low and they're hard to catch, or he's trying to laser them up 30 feet high and he's throwing it over his receiver's hands.
I don't know if I could say 30 feet high though, because
not 30 feet high.
Because they did catch most of them. He threw 28 passes and they caught 23 of them. So all of them almost were catchable, at least from what I remembered. And he does throw fast. I will say that. But honestly, I was impressed because I did watch Jay Cutler for a very long time, and while Jay Cutler had an extremely strong arm, he had a lot of problems with accuracy and a lot of problems with throwing the ball way too hard to a receiver that was way too close. And so what I noticed from Patrick Mahomes, at least from what I saw, was that he had a good, at least I thought he had a good mix of the in-between because it wasn't too fast. Sometimes they were a little too fast, and those balls actually did get dropped. I did notice that. And sometimes he passed it to guys where he's lucky that the receiver turned around in time, and I did notice that. But it's basically his rookie season. I know he's not a rookie, but this is the first time he's actually playing. And to have 6 touchdown passes is kind of ridiculous.
Yeah, he threw great the entire game, but the only other problem I have with him is that his short passes, oftentimes, he throws them not hard enough, and they're in the air long enough from that short distance where it's easier for them to get picked. You see that happen actually a lot with younger quarterbacks who are used to, in their college systems, shotgunning and stuff like that, and throwing the ball for a certain amount of yards every time. When they're doing these short passes for little bits of yards, they don't really know how to wage how hard they should throw. And I feel like that just, the same thing happened with Jay Cutler. He oftentimes, when
Jay Cutler would throw it way too hard.
He'd throw it way too hard.
It bounced off of their shoulder pads. I hated it. It was awful.
Because he didn't know how to throw from that short. And I think if Mahomes can figure that out and figure out how to, he just needs to control his speed a little bit more. It's good on some of the passes and bad on some of the others. If he controls his speed just a bit more, I think he'll be perfectly fine. Mm-hmm. And I think throwing 10 touchdowns in your first 2 games is not something to scoff at all. I think he's doing a really great job, but I think he just needs to touch up on some things and he could be a great quarterback. Right now he's good. He's good.
See, I do agree with you that it is pretty crazy to throw 10 touchdowns in your first 2 games, and I do think he does still have a lot to work on, just because when I'm watching him, it was really impressive. I'm not going to lie, because I'm watching Mitch Trubisky, because I'm a Bears fan, in case you guys didn't know. That's why it's called Unbearables. And I'm watching Mitch Trubisky, and I'm not disappointed per se, but I haven't had that feeling of, wow, this guy actually has a ton of promise. I do like Mitch, but if you're a Chiefs fan, you have to be happy with how Patrick Mahomes is playing, because he has thrown 10 touchdowns every 2 weeks. Now, no, not every 2 weeks, in the first 2 weeks. And that's not sustainable, obviously. And the defenses he's played haven't been the best. The Steelers' defense isn't what it once was.
Not at all.
And so that also makes it hard to gauge, but you can't take away his performance though, because he made all the right passes. He looked through he had like the right player progressions, the play progressions. He would look to one receiver, look to the other, make the right choice. Sometimes he did throw it a little too hard, but more than not, I mean, he was pretty accurate and his passes landed. So for me, I was really happy watching that game. It was really fun, and it was a shootout. I felt bad for Ben Roethlisberger, though, that game, because his defense did not help.
His defense screwed him over.
Yeah, his defense screwed him over, and there was no running game.
Not at all.
There was literally no running game. I was watching that, and I'm thinking, if I'm Ben Roethlisberger right now, I know from the first, the first time through, actually, that it's all on me. It is literally all on me, and he did a good job because Ben Roethlisberger.
He's Ben Roethlisberger.
He still has an arm, and he can still move a little bit, but it takes him a little while. He has to put some oil on the hinges, before he starts running, so he has to get ready. He's getting a little old, but he still got the job done to an extent. You can't. They lost, but you can't ask for more of him when his team isn't helping him at all.
He did as much as he humanly could. Ben Roethlisberger, I think what season is he entering? I think it's like 12 or 13.
It might be more than that.
It might even be more than that. He's kind of old,
Yeah,
Like that's hard for a guy that age to do.
He had 60 attempts that game. Literally 60 times. 60 times. And like I just said, Patrick Mahomes
threw 28.
28. Half. And the thing
literally
is,
half. Less than half. And I get his completion percentage was better. But I don't even think you can compare his performance to Ben Roethlisberger's, obviously. But Ben Roethlisberger threw a lot more, and a lot more was on his back, I think. With this explosion of Tyreek Hill, I don't think as much is on Mahomes' back as would usually be. So he's able to screw up, and he's able to test out those hard throws, which have been working so far.
Well, what I like about their offense is that, everyone talks about this, it's spread all over. It's spread everywhere. So it does help him out a lot because he has a lot of talent all around everyone, really. Every player, he gets them involved in the game, and that might be just due to their offensive style. Because Alex Smith did really well last season too with this Chiefs team, but he still did a great job. The thing with Ben Roethlisberger, though, is that he didn't have any help. He had
none.
And
he throws to his receivers. He does what he has to do. He can't play defense. He can't play the running game. He's just a quarterback.
Yeah, he is the most important player on the team, but there is an
extent to what he can do.
Yeah, there's definitely an extent to what you can do. I thought the Chiefs' defense played really well that first quarter.
Yes.
But then it was just, I guess Ben found them out or something, because after that it was, he was able to go down the field. And I know he's a great quarterback. He's probably seen it all at this point. So
he's seen every style of defense possible. He doesn't. Nothing surprises him anymore. He can get stopped every once in a while, but I don't think you can really stop Ben Roethlisberger from throwing 200 yards a game. Maybe 300 you can stop him from, but he's going to get 200 yards every game he plays in, and there's no doubt about that.
Oh, for sure. That's just what he does. It's what he's been doing since probably, I think, his
10 years ago.
Yeah, his third season in the league. He averaged over 200 yards per game, and ever since then, it's just stayed that way consistently.
What a great guy, too. I love Ben Roethlisberger so much.
He's a cool guy. I feel bad for him a little bit because I remember his great days with the Steelers when they had this great defense and everything was going well for them. But at the same time, it's like everyone gets theirs. So the new guys are coming in.
Now the new guys are coming in. They've got all these old guys leaving. Now everyone's unhappy with the Steelers. Everyone's not happy with them.
Yeah, that's gonna happen over time.
Right, it's gonna happen over time, but it's over these.
Especially with Le'Veon Bell not playing.
Right, that was
People were saying that he might not actually be as good as what we thought he was. It might just be the system, and Ben Roethlisberger might just open up a lot of stuff for him. But look what happened. That running game was awful, and a big part of it is Le'Veon Bell is a very patient running back, so he'll find all those holes that might be kind of hard to find sometimes. And the big problem, too, with the Steelers' offense was that the offensive line was collapsing oftentimes. And what are you going to do at that point when you're trying to pass and
you don't have a running game? You're not like these young quarterbacks. You're at a certain age where getting hit all the time and having a crappy offensive line, that doesn't do it for you anymore. You can't work your way out of that. You have to be able to have a line and have a good running game. And if you don't, as an older quarterback, you're going to start to struggle. And I still think he's going to get his and do whatever he needs to do, but he's not going to be able to succeed. He's not even going to be able to get close to, say, a Super Bowl without that help. Any help at all?
A big part of me is always thinking, like, what are the Steelers? Because it's hard to tell because he does cover a lot of their blemishes. But this is the age it's coming at least, of the new young quarterbacks. And with now new quarterbacks like Mitch Trubisky, hopefully, could be in that next list.
I really hope so. People said he looked like Roethlisberger for a while. Remember that when we drafted him? It was like, he's the next Big Ben, I swear.
See, now people are either saying he's either Alex Smith or he's either Aaron Rodgers.
Or he's out of the league.
I don't know about out of the league. He'll always have a job. He's a good quarterback for sure.
He's a good quarterback, but I don't know if he's going to, in a couple of years, if he's going to be starting. Right now, from what you see right now, there's a chance he's not starting in a couple of years.
If he plays like this for 2 more years, obviously there's going to be some problems. Ryan Pace is probably going to be out of a job for sure because what are you going to do? You traded up for this guy, and if he's not at least an above average quarterback, it was a loss.
It was a waste of a pick. And I didn't even back then. I didn't think they should have done it. I thought they should have traded for Jimmy Garoppolo. I thought that was the right thing to do, and they didn't. And now Jimmy Garoppolo is like insane. He's really good.
But I'm not going to completely give up on Trubisky. I think the Bears have made some good moves in general this season, and with just getting Khalil Mack and all the other pieces that they have gotten. I know Khalil Mack is a stud.
I love that guy. He's the best defensive end in all of football. You can't say otherwise.
Yeah,
you see that
you can make the
yeah. He just comes out of nowhere. You don't see him until he has the ball in his hands and he's in the end zone.
No, I understand. He has a lot of talent.
No one in the league can block him one-on-one either. You have to have multiple people.
No, that is definitely
unless you're
helpful.
holding him.
And if Leonard Floyd, when he gets that club off of his hand, when he does that, hopefully he plays up to where his potential lies. Because if he does
Smith plays up to his potential,
yes, and Danny Trevathan is also a very good linebacker.
He's been playing great.
Yeah, you have 4 good linebackers on your team. And you have Akeem Hicks, and
they're all right. They're not great, but they're good.
Well, Akeem Hicks is good. Roy Robertson Harris, I think, is going to be good. The Bears' defense is definitely a good defense. My only problem with this team is what happened in Week 1. Last week's game against the Packers was ridiculous in so many ways. First of all, a lot of really good things happened in that first half, and then nothing good happened in the second.
Well, I can't blame most of what happened on the defense.
No, I'm not saying that either.
Aaron Rodgers is probably the best skill quarterback in the league, and his shtick is coming back from
even on one leg, apparently.
Yeah,
on one leg.
You saw that? What was it? A 68-yard touchdown pass where he barely landed on his left foot.
No, it's ridiculous what Aaron Rodgers can do. I'm a Bears fan.
You have to accept greatness when it shows up.
You can't. Yeah, there's nothing you can say about Aaron Rodgers except that he's great. That's it. You could be mad about it.
Yeah,
but it's undeniable. It is literally an undeniable fact that he is one of the greatest players ever to play football.
Yeah.
And that's it. That is what it is. Despite that, though, there are things that the Bears could have done to win that game.
If the Bears hadn't been almost stagnant on offense in that second half, I think they should have let Trubisky throw downfield instead of these little screen passes that don't get us a lot of yards. I don't think we should have been running it as much as we were in that second half. I think we should have been trying to move downfield rather than those screen passes.
Well, in the second half, we didn't run it as much towards the end, though, because when they should have been running it, they should have been running it more, and then they didn't. And so it was all pass, and they knew it was all pass, and then Trubisky just couldn't get a completion.
And I don't know if I blame that entirely on Trubisky. I think the Packers defense definitely stepped up big time, but Trubisky wasn't hitting his spots the way you needed him to. And there was a couple of them where he got one 10-yard pass downfield, and you're like, wow, okay, here we go. And then they make that little screen pass completion for 1.5 yards or 2 yards.
Yeah, but there was
why?
There were a lot
Why?
of problems, though. My thing is, like, why was he passing to Deion Sims? Probably one of your worst receivers. I know he's a tight end, but your worst receivers on the team, you were passing it to him. One of the worst playmakers. He's a blocking tight end. That's
Right.
why you
He's not
got him.
Exactly. You got him. I almost said bought him.
Yeah.
You got him to come block for you. You didn't get him to come take receptions as much as any other tight end. That's why he's not in when you really need a tight end to be making catches, and you had him in.
And they had the
you threw
reason.
to him.
Well, the reason they have to now too is because Adam Shaheen is hurt,
Right.
and he is a receiving tight end. Now he's a big dude, but he can't really block right
can
now.
get up.
So my whole thing is, there were a lot of problems. I knew since the since the second half started, it's like if the Bears just score one touchdown, they'll
They just
win
needed
this
one.
game.
They needed one more to put it out of reach.
Yes,
Because
and
Aaron Rodgers would have ran out of time trying to get that extra one.
and you knew when Aaron Rodgers came in, it's like, oh man, he could do this.
Well, I think it's
this.
like remember when Paul Pierce faked an injury and came back and dropped 20 points in the second half? I think it wasn't actually planned, but it's it feels like that almost.
Well, he wasn't. He definitely didn't fake the injury. He
right,
couldn't-
but it feels like that.
Um,
Aaron Rodgers just keeps doing this to us. We'll go up by 20. He'll be like, "Oh, my leg," and then he comes back and it's just like, "Oh, 3 touchdowns."
I mean,
Sorry, guys.
Aaron Rodgers is gonna do whatever Aaron Rodgers wants to do in the football field, and no one could tell him differently as long as he's healthy.
If
he
try
can
and stop-
stand,
if he can stand, he will throw a football 68 yards for a touchdown.
and it's ridiculous. But there are also some defensive problems I will address.
Khalil Mack got stopped in the second half.
Well,
The
that's
pass
also
rush
due,
was killed.
That's also due to his conditioning too, because he held out for so long. He held out for so long, so he wasn't completely conditioned. He also had a blown assignment on one of the plays where the Packers scored, and that wasn't his fault because you can't blame him. He's done so many other good things in that game that they wouldn't have even been close without him.
Right.
And he thought that one of the running back or the receiver, I don't remember, but he thought that he didn't have anyone on him, so he dropped back to go cover him, but there was already somebody else on him, but because he doesn't know the plays exactly how everyone else does, he made the wrong decision. Now, I'm not going to hold that against him. What I will hold against him, though, not against him, what I will hold against one of the defensive players is Kyle Fuller. He dropped a pick to end the game. It literally hit him right in his chest.
Right in his chest, bounced off his hands, didn't catch it. And it was that.
And that's why you catch with your hands, not your chest.
Yeah, kids. Remember that one.
It's like, that's why you don't catch with your shoulder pads. If you,
You have to remember, Kyle Fuller is kind of a bust at this point from where we drafted him.
he's not a bust.
He's
That's
not
why
what
they gave
anyone
him
thought
a
he would be.
contract.
People were like, "He's the next Peanut Tillman." I swear, he's the
I'm-
next Peanut.
I don't.
Not even close.
Okay, I don't.
Not even close.
I
People
wouldn't
said
say.
that.
I wouldn't say he's a bust though. I did like Kyle Fuller, and I did think that they shouldn't have opted out on his rookie deal when they did, because I thought he still had potential. I was like, he's just injured. He played well his first season.
Played all right.
Well, he played well for a rookie his first season for sure. No, he definitely played well. That was all of the talks around the league, but. I thought, why can't he do that again? Why can't he do that again? He hasn't had a chance. And then he came back healthy last season, and he had one of the best seasons out of all the defensive backs in the league. And the Bears gave him a contract. And he had a good game. He had a bad play, but a crucial play. A play that made them lose the game.
You can't, on plays like those, you can't allow yourself to mess up. When a play is that important, when a play is that important, when something like that is that important, you can't just drop a pick.
Well, because football isn't baseball. Football isn't basketball. There aren't 162 games or 82 games in a season.
There's only 16.
Yes. So every mistake you make is magnified because you have one game per week.
Especially when those mistakes come in crucial parts of the game, parts that could win you that game. Say you lose that one game, and that's the difference between you making the playoffs and not making the playoffs.
Yeah, and it's
You
every
know how
game
that
matters
looks?
way more. Every game matters. Every game matters extremely more because every game counts. You can, like basketball players, they don't play as hard as in the playoffs.
Or they
as
don't play every game.
Yeah, or they don't play every game even.
Of the season. Like they rest now, which used to not be a thing, but it is now.
Even
but in
baseball
football, you
players
can't
have so many rest days too.
Right,
you
like
can't
do
do
that in the NFL at all. Like if Aaron Rodgers were to sit a day, do you think the Packers would be happy?
Oh man, there'd be riots.
Can you imagine?
That'd be right.
Like say your starting center just sat and then you had somebody else snapping the ball to you. Do you think that would be okay? Not really. You can't do the same thing in the NFL because each position's like conditioned and they're crucial to the way the offense runs or the defense runs. It's very different in basketball when you have all these substitutes. A lot of these guys play their same position the entire game in the NFL. Like, they're out there most of the time.
And every position matters. Every player matters. So with that being said, I need to know, as a Bears fan, I need to know how Trubisky is going to play because he matters the most.
Exactly. He's the most important player on your football field at all times.
He hasn't had a big game yet. I just want to see him. I don't think he's had a big game yet.
Didn't he throw like 3 touchdowns in one game last year? And they're like, "Oh, this is it.
No,
this is it, guys."
I don't think so. No.
I remember there was something.
I don't think he's had a multiple passing touchdown game yet. I don't think so.
There was a game that had my dad all hyped up about it.
See, I know. I was hyped up about a few games last season.
Being a Bears fan, you get hyped up pretty easily about quarterbacks because you watch Jay Cutler for like 6 years. You watch
Jay Cutler have only 2 good seasons at most, and if that's
like a season and a half.
Yeah, if you want to say that's a good season.
And then he went and sucked for the Dolphins. He retired and then unretired. That was funny.
Hey,
I was actually looking forward to hearing him in the booth, and he's just like, "No, I'm gonna play for the Dolphins."
Yeah, he got his bag, so I'm not gonna say anything. You know what I mean?
Bag secured.
Yeah, so he got paid, so that's good for him. But I need to know what Mitchell Trubisky is. I need to know because that's what makes or breaks a team is your quarterback.
You really can't have a crappy quarterback and go to the Super Bowl. Like,
not anymore. At least.
Not anymore. Like, the Eagles got lucky with Nick Foles, an above-average backup.
Offenses are just too good nowadays,
and defenses are just too good to have a crappy quarterback.
You have, at the top of the league, you just have to have a good quarterback.
If you want to compete for anything, you need to have a top 5 quarterback.
And I'm not saying he has to be Aaron Rodgers. I'm not saying he has to be Tom Brady. I'm just saying he has to be Alex Smith.
Better than he is right now.
That's all I'm saying. I don't want him to be Alex Smith. Alex Smith is
rather
a very
him be
good
like
quarterback.
Ben Roethlisberger.
Well, I mean, Ben Roethlisberger, let me be honest, he was pretty great for a big part of his career.
Right. I'd rather him be Ben Roethlisberger.
Yeah, okay, well, then I'd rather him be Aaron Rodgers. If we're going to say that.
No,
then,
I want him to be Tom Brady. I want him to be great. Do I think he can? It's debatable in my mind right now. I don't really know. You don't see enough of what he can do yet, so...
Oh, sorry. We're watching.
That was a reaction of the Bears game.
We're watching the Bears game right now.
That was like a 20-yard pass by the Seahawks.
Sorry, let's just keep on going. Okay. So basically, what's going on is we have to see some good stuff come from him. We have to see him throw some touchdowns in. I haven't seen it yet, and I want to see it because that's the only way we know if a quarterback is good is if he can throw some touchdowns or not. I don't really want a game manager. I want someone who can take control of the game at any given moment. So
who can go downfield at the blink of an eye and get you a touchdown.
But speaking of players, that can take over the game at any moment, apparently my man IT in the NBA, take it to NBA right now, says that he is the best point guard in the league. Now, let me just put this into perspective, okay? So, a lot of people say Steph Curry, probably third best player in the league, third, fourth, around that area.
I'd say third. I'd give him third.
And he thinks he's better than Steph, so that must mean
he's the
IT
third best.
is the third best, obviously.
Right, obviously, it's Isaiah Thomas.
In the whole league, so you have LeBron James, Kevin Durant, and then Isaiah Thomas, the 5'9" point guard.
Oh, yeah, the 5'9" point guard who can't play defense and can't pass that
well. Who also had hip surgery.
Who can barely run on an NBA court.
I'm not saying Isaiah Thomas can't score anymore because I did watch him play in the Lakers last season and
he scored just fine. He scored all right.
Yes, he scored. He did, and he can be helpful in moments.
But he's not what he just tried to say he was.
In short stints.
In short stints, he could be like a top 20 player in the league.
Not top 20, man.
Top 15.
No.
You're going lower?
I don't
like if he drops.
Are you talking about point guards or are you talking about in the league in general? That's what I gotta know because
I was saying in the league in general, when he goes off, he's not top 20 in the league. When he has those nights where he takes over a game,
not in the playoffs anymore because what people weren't doing before is bullying him. They weren't bullying him.
But now they're just all up on him. Pressure. Lost the ball. My point.
And if they're defending him, if he's defending them, they'll just post him up or they'll dunk on him. You know what I mean?
And now with the hip thing, he's not fast enough to get in front of these guys.
He can't.
Can you imagine him trying to guard Russell Westbrook. Russell Westbrook comes up full speed, one crossover, he's at the rim.
It wouldn't work. That's the thing. He can come in to get some shots, but he's a bench
not a
player
starter.
now.
He's not a starter, and he's not a guy you rely on. You said earlier that he was like Jason Terry, and I was like, man, what the heck are you talking about? But now that I think about it, he is a lot like Jason Terry in the way, even Jason Terry's older years when he was...
he can be a helpful backup.
He can come in and shoot the important shots every once in a while.
Yeah, he can
Manu
do that.
Ginobili, but a lot worse than Manu Ginobili.
Obviously, because Manu Ginobili is arguably the best sixth man of all time. He
Rest
could
in
have
peace,
started
Manu's
on
career.
so many teams, yes.
Well, I think the best six man is Jay Crossover, but
I don't know.
I love Jay Crossover so much.
Manu's got the rings, though.
Manu's
rings.
got the bling, you know what I'm saying?
Jewelry. So I just wanted to go through this list that I, created.
All 31?
And all 31. All 31 players. So what we're going to do is we're going to decide whether we would have this point guard or Isaiah Thomas. And there are 31 players here on this list. It might get it is a lot. So we'll see if we go through all 31. But I'm just trying to make a point. I'm trying to make a point of what would you want on your team? So, first things first, who do you have? Steph Curry or Isaiah Thomas?
I'll pick IT, bro. No, I'm playing.
Bro,
I got Steph all the way.
All right.
Steph Curry's like one of a top 5 point guard all time, let alone number 1 in the league.
And Isaiah Thomas is never going to ever
Isaiah
be
Thomas
in an
is
all-time
whack.
conversation unless he was the one on the Detroit Pistons.
Isaiah Thomas is whack.
And now let's go to the next one. Okay, so I have Chris Paul or Isaiah Thomas.
CP3 all the way. It's not even a question.
All right, Russell Westbrook.
Westbrook.
I know we're gonna keep on doing this. It's gonna be ridiculous.
It's just-
Kyrie Irving,
Kyrie.
Damian Lillard,
Dame.
John Wall,
John.
Drew Holiday,
Drew Holiday, yeah.
Kemba Walker,
Kemba.
Ben Simmons,
Ben Simmons.
Mike Conley.
Mike.
Oh, this is
When
also
healthy. When healthy.
you're just when healthy, you don't have to worry about injury concerns, anything like that. Eric Bledsoe.
That one's a little nippy right there. Because Eric Bledsoe, when he got moved to Milwaukee, he was kind of iffy.
Just look at the entirety of his career.
In the entirety of his career, I'm taking Eric Bledsoe.
All right, Goran Dragic.
Goran Dragic, I'd take
Goran
Dragic. Dragic,
yeah.
actually, a lot of people don't give him recognition. I say he's a top 10 point guard in the league right now. Which,
so?
yeah, he drops 20 a game, 8 assists most nights.
Yeah,
you know?
he is a really good player.
He doesn't get the respect he deserves, I think.
I want to keep on going just to make a point. All right, so I would actually take Jamal Murray.
Oh yeah,
Darren Collison.
that's an if.
I still would take Darren Collison
Really?
because he can guard more people.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
Defense plays into it a lot.
Defense does play into it a lot. All right, so I would actually take Lonzo.
I would take Lonzo, playmaking.
Ricky Rubio.
Same thing, playmaking.
Jeff Teague. That's
an iffy.
Yeah, I'm a little concerned, but I do think
Jeff Teague. It depends on which Jeff Teague you're getting, and with Jeff Teague, it's not a health thing. It's just a season by season thing.
Well, some games he's really like.
Are you getting a Hawks Jeff Teague, or are you getting like the first season of the Timberwolves Jeff Teague, where Derrick Rose could have started over him?
See, we'll talk about that in a second, actually. So, Jeff Teague, I probably would take Jeff Teague over Isaiah Thomas.
It's close for me, but I'm gonna still take Jeff Teague.
I would take Terry Rozier as well.
I don't know if I'd take Terry Rozier.
I would take him just because, I mean...
What he did in the playoffs was great and all, and I see that. But in the regular season, what did he average? About 5 points?
He didn't get to play that much.
Exactly. Because he's not that good.
I don't know, man. You can't take away what you do in the playoffs.
You
that's
though.
That's
you can't base an entire player based off what they did in one playoffs.
Well, he's also a young player.
He's a young player.
Who got his time to shine, and then
depending
he shined.
on what happens next season and how he plays, I could take him over IT. But right now, I can't. Because IT's veteran, proven.
Well, I don't know. I wouldn't
not
say he
proven,
has,
but he's
well,
veteran.
I wouldn't say that he has veteran. I wouldn't say that he's a good veteran player because you see what he did to that Cavs locker room. You see what he did to that Lakers
that Cavs
locker room.
locker room was screwed anyway.
It was, but he didn't make it any better.
Right.
And then he went to the Lakers and said, I am not going to play unless I'm starting as soon as he got there.
Well, yeah, because he's trying to secure his bag, bro.
I understand, but that's not the way a veteran acts. Is that how Jamal Crawford acts?
Well, see, Jamal Crawford's like 40, bro.
But
Vince Carter literally just signed a deal with the Hawks.
Isaiah Thomas is 5'9".
Yeah, you got a point
Yeah,
there.
he's 5'9". Like,
his body's going to shut down quicker. He's not going to be able to play at the same rate within these upcoming seasons. I changed my mind. I take Terry Rozier.
Or what about Dennis Smith?
Dennis Smith Jr. all the way. That
All
guy's
right.
got bounce, too.
we're just gonna go through these last ones kind of fast. De'Aaron Fox. D'Angelo Russell. Fred VanVleet.
Isaiah Thomas.
I might take Isaiah Thomas on that one too. All right, Dennis Schroeder.
Dennis Schroeder.
Rajon Rondo.
Rondo.
Patrick Beverly.
Pat Bev.
Derrick Rose. Win healthy.
So
I'm going to take Derrick Rose. Now, we have some rookies on this list too. I like Aaron Holiday. I think he's going to be a very good point guard. I would take Aaron Holiday.
I would also take Aaron Holiday.
Trae Young, I'm
not going to take
about.
Trae Young.
I don't want to make any.
They're like theoretically the same person.
I mean,
they just chuck up shots and hope they go in a little bit.
Well, Trae Young just chucks up way more.
I think Trae Young's going to play a little different when he gets like league play. I think summer league play, I think he was just like 3-ball. Kobe.
Hopefully, because if he does that in the NBA,
I don't think he's going to get much playing time if he keeps doing it.
Oh, well, they're going to have to play him because they traded away Dennis Schroeder.
They traded away Dennis Schroeder just to get
now,
him.
I would take Colin Sexton, actually, because of the promise.
I'd take Colin Sexton.
Now,
I wouldn't take Shai Gilgeous.
See, I wouldn't take Shai Gilgeous either because he can't really shoot as well. And Jalen Brunson, I do like him.
I wouldn't take Jalen Brunson. No.
I actually really like Jalen Brunson because he is a playmaker and he's really smart and he can shoot. He's a good overall player, and I think that he can do a little bit more, especially defensively, than Isaiah Thomas. Now, there was 2 players that I for sure wanted Isaiah Thomas over the 31 list.
Yeah, like 2 players, and with those 2 players, I was still a little iffy on it.
Well, I might be just, bashing on Isaiah Thomas a little bit too much.
He's bad. He wants too much for what he is. He can't play defense. He can't pass.
Well, he doesn't want too much because he did take the veteran minimum.
He took the veteran minimum because it's all people would give him. No one would give him more money.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know of what his offers got, but he took a prove it deal. Let's see if he can prove it.
I don't think he's going to. I think he's gonna. Is Jamal Murray going to start over him, or is Jamal?
Jamal Murray's definitely starting over him.
Or is Jamal Murray going to play shooting guard? Because that's what he was drafted as. Remember, like the days where Jamal Murray was considered a shooting guard.
I would have him come off the bench because
I think he would help off the bench a lot, but then that prove it deal wasn't really worth it. He's not going to get a lot of money. He's going to get
you can prove things
maybe a $6 million a year deal after this.
That's good.
That's enough for him.
Yeah,
right, but that's not what he
wants.
wanted when he was coming off that Boston.
He wanted a max deal.
He was like, "Yeah, I want $52 million a year. I want more than LeBron."
Okay,
man.
He definitely didn't say that number,
well,
but
he probably said it inside of his head.
He wanted the max deal for sure.
Man, I love. LeBron makes like $126 a second in game time.
Yeah,
like it's some insane
crazy
amount of money, or like it's a $120-something thousand a game.
Yeah,
like the amount of money that man makes.
Good for him. I wish I was, 6'8".
I wish I was LeBron.
You know what I mean? That would be cool. And LeBron.
If I was LeBron, I'd work on my shooting for him.
LeBron can shoot now. He can shoot. He's been able to do it for a while. So I'm not going to say anything about him shooting-wise. But what I will say is that, so there are a lot of point guards in this league that I would choose over Isaiah Thomas. I'm not saying I dislike Isaiah Thomas. I think he can be helpful in certain situations. I just don't think in a playoff setting he is helpful anymore. And to me, that's the most important because I judge a lot of my basketball on what you can do for a team in the playoffs. Because if you can't do anything for your team in the playoffs, guess what? It doesn't matter. Because what are we playing for here? What are they playing for?
Titles.
Championships. If you can't help in the playoffs, you're not worth anything. You're not worth anything because it doesn't matter what you do through the 82. I mean, you have to
matters,
make
but it
the
doesn't
playoffs.
matter as much.
Yeah, you have to make it to the playoffs, but having the best record
means almost nothing once you get to playoff time.
Yes, because
home court advantage helps. Yeah, but if remember that Atlanta Hawks team that was like, yeah, we got a great record, guys, and then they ate ass.
It's like
ate booty.
It's also like the Golden State Warriors. They won 73 games.
They won 73 games.
Lost 9, and then they lost in the finals.
So
what happens to that season then? That was a failure to them.
It was garbage.
That was a failure.
And the season afterwards, they won a lot less games, played a lot differently in the regular season, and won. They swept them that year, didn't they? They swept the Cavs that year. Or was it
no, they
4-1?
didn't. It was 4-1.
4-1. They almost swept the Cavs.
I mean, Draymond Green was very upset about it. So that's basically what I have to say. And then talking about players, I guess, who did play well in last week in the postseason, the playoffs. Derrick Rose actually did play very well for the Timberwolves in the playoffs in his limited time. So I want to know, because Kevin Garnett said he would start Derrick Rose over Jeff Teague. He said that he would do that. Would you do that?
I personally would, and I don't know if that's coming from a biased place.
Yeah, because we love some Derrick Rose.
We love me some Derrick Rose. I spend days a year, not even like a month a year, watching just Derrick Rose highlights, like the old Derrick Rose highlights, the dunk over Goran Dragic, like these. That
some of the things
in
that
a young Bulls fan's mind, you just imagine what would have happened if he never got injured.
All the time.
As a current Bulls fan and as a part-time Timberwolves fan, I guess. They're like my second favorite team.
Timber Bulls.
Timber Bulls. I really wish they'd sign Joakim. That'd just be funny.
I'm glad that they didn't.
I'm really glad they're not.
I'm glad that they have no interest because I'm sorry,
he's
Joakim,
so bad.
You can't play anymore.
You're done. Retire.
I mean, unless you want to be Zaza Pachulia, then
he
it's
could be.
fine.
He could be just like a nuisance a little bit.
All right. No, I mean like he can get rebounds.
I think Derrick Rose is a more efficient player, and he fits the Timberwolves style a little more. You have to remember, Tom Thibodeau's entire life coaching has been with Derrick Rose.
Essentially,
his entire coaching career has been with Derrick Rose and then with Jimmy Butler, two players he currently has. He doesn't have to run his offense the same way. That would not make a lot of sense. But if he ran a point guard centric offense that fed like, say, the 2011 Bulls, I don't have a problem with that.
The only thing that concerns me though is that they did that with Butler and Rose, and it didn't work in the past. So hopefully he can get more out of Karl Anthony Towns
than you did out of Joakim Noah.
Yeah, and Andrew Wiggins. Joakim Noah did what he was supposed to do in that offense and that defense on the Bulls.
Score a little bit and shoot a jumper every once in a while that made fans go, ew.
Get rebounds and pass the ball a little bit. He did what he needed to do and played good defense. But you're going to need more than that from Karl Anthony Towns, and you'll get it if Karl Anthony Towns plays
you'll get everything better except defense, obviously. I think
Karl Anthony Towns cannot play defense.
If Karl Anthony Towns improves
anybody
his
down.
defense, there's literally no way he's not the best center. But his defense is like booty.
Oh, well,
Joel Embiid is literally just Karl Anthony Towns' defense and a little more body.
No,
yes,
Joel
that's
Embiid
literally
is
all he is.
Way better than Karl Anthony Towns. It's okay for you to think that. He's way better. We talked about you guys have heard my opinion about this on other episodes.
Yeah, we've argued about this like 4 times.
But no, we talked about this in the past with Danny Mulligan, Emilio, and Zeke. We all agree that Joel Embiid probably has the opportunity to be the best center in the league.
He does, but so does Towns. So does Porzingis.
Yes. Towns, I still have to see it because he's not strong.
He's dropping 26 a game, man. What else do you want?
Is he really dropping 26 a game? I gotta know because I don't think he is. And even if he is, what happened to him in the playoffs? He couldn't do anything.
Yeah, he was booty.
Yeah, Joel Embiid was good in the playoffs though, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, really good. So that's my thing. I'm a playoffs guy. That's what I look at. Now, I would start Derrick Rose just to see how it goes.
No doubt start Derrick Rose. I think he's a better overall player.
I would start him just to see how it goes.
So
you could always change it if you don't like it, and if you want to see it, then just see it.
So Towns went from 18 to 25 to 21. So he was like at about 26, and then Jimmy Butler took away some of his touches. He played less minutes a game. He's still grabbing 12 boards a game.
I don't dislike Karl Anthony Towns. I just think he should be better.
He should be better.
He should be better and stronger.
I don't disagree with you.
And stronger.
There you go. But his body type doesn't support more weight.
I mean, he can get stronger.
He can get stronger, but I don't think he can get a bunch stronger.
Well, then that's going to be a problem.
But
then that's going to, you know what I mean? Because he has Joel Embiid,
the thing about him is
Anthony
he doesn't
Davis.
need to be them. He needs to be Karl Anthony Towns. If he shoots, all he needs to do is shoot more efficiently, grab more boards, get more assists.
Learn how to post someone up a little bit or play post defense.
He's got nice post moves. He knows how to move down there.
I don't know. Have you seen that picture of him and DeMarcus Cousins?
Okay, that was funny.
Yeah, DeMarcus Cousins.
Remember who was it that JaVale McGee couldn't back down Isaiah Thomas?
I don't know, man.
That's one of the funniest videos I've ever seen.
I don't know.
I'm excited for the Lakers because I think this is where JaVale's going to play his best. But, I mean, it's just...
We'll see. We'll see what goes on.
We'll see what this season, what comes with this season. I'm pretty excited for this NBA season myself.
I'm excited because I want to see the Bulls too, and I want to see the Lakers.
I think the Bulls are going to make the playoffs, 7 or 8.
I think so too. But
I think in this Eastern Conference they could get to 5, at max. They could get to 5.
I am not sure about the 5, but we'll remember that. So we're rambling a little bit.
Chubb takes.
So that's
Chubb facts.
That's reasonable. You know, we'll remember that going forward. It is hard because yes, the Eastern Conference is not as good as the Western Conference. You know, obviously, but the teams on the Eastern Conference are all close to the same level of good.
Yeah, they're
except
all like
for the top 3.
You look at the Eastern Conference, you're like, they could all be 8 seeds.
And I said level of good because none of them are great. Except after the top 3.
After the top 3, after the Celtics,
the Raptors,
Sixers, and the Raptors, nobody's great.
Yes.
There's teams that are close to greatness. Maybe it's like a 1 through 5 is like a solid tier, but like 6 through 8, those teams,
Yeah, but if 1 through 5 is a solid tier, then I don't know about the Bulls being a 1 through 5. Then
I think the Bulls can hit it.
Well, we'll find out. You know, it's just we'll see. But I think that'll be it for today. We're gonna talk. Hopefully, we'll release another video on Saturday. Zeke was supposed to be here today, but he'll be here on Friday.
He had a dentist appointment.
He had some type of appointment. But thank you.
Super last minute, guys.
Thank you for Thank you for listening. I'm Brandon Ruiz, and I'm here with
Big Chubb, aka Phil Wood.
Thanks for listening.